Today I went out and did the rover track again and put those learned waypoints into a quad and asked the quad to fly the same path. Something I've been planning to do for months. So we'll put her in manual mode, and I use a toggle switch on the RC transmitter. It's a momentary long lever, and when I want to mark a waypoint I just pull the lever up. It marks waypoint 1 as home when it arms, so I just have 2, 3, 4, like 5 and 6 to do on this one. Corners and making it cross the finish line as an extra one. I'll try to point it out with my cursor when it gets way out of sight down through there. Just point it out every now and then. I'm sure some of you have better eyesight than I do, and also when I'm editing I don't have full HD when I'm editing, so it'll be much easier to see after it's rendered. So my simple intention today was to run approximately the size of the autonomous vehicle contest rover track, just as the square, and then put the same GPS learned waypoints in the quad and let the quad run it. But me as I am, I decided to play with the waypoints after they were learned for the quad to simulate a wicket that you have to fly the quads through at the autonomous vehicle contest. And on the final leg I stopped it and was going to bring it down from 30 feet to 15 feet and then move it forward 20 feet, go back up to 30 feet, and then finish out waypoints 5 and 6, which would have been 7 and 8, whatever, by that time. You do that by putting your cursor on one of the waypoints and hitting an add below command. It also copies the GPS coordinates. Dang it. So I accidentally put incorrect GPS coordinates in. It did do the loiter for 5 seconds, lowered to 15 feet, but it did so on its way to some GPS waypoints that were over in the trees. We'll see that here in a minute. Turning waypoint number 5, headed for number 6, just over the line. Done. Hit return to home. And while it's returning to home, I'm actually jumped out of the truck there. And I just go out and turn it around a little bit and head it sort of in the right direction. Check it over. Then I got back in the truck, did straighten it out, edited some of the video there, and all I did after that was hit the auto button. Here we go, hit auto, ding, off she goes. You'll notice it's a little back and forth as it starts. That's because it's calculating. There's a new algorithm for calculating position, altitude, and stuff for the Pixhawk. I'm actually running a Pixhawk in this and the long range VHS radio for kicks and grins because I can. The more it moves, the more precise it gets. Again, I'll point out when it's down on the other end of the field where it is with the cursor. For those of us with bad eyesight. There we go, turn the corner, waypoint 2, heading for waypoint 3. Only 6 waypoints in this whole thing. 1, home. 2, the first turn. It's headed for 3 now. 4 will be the turn down in the bottom left corner here. 5 will be where I turn back in the same direction as the start, and 6 will be just a few feet over what would be the finish line. We're turning corner and for waypoint number 4. When it's in learning mode, that lever marks a waypoint anytime you toggle it. When it's in auto mode, that lever invokes return to home. When it's in manual mode, that lever clears all the waypoints from the learn. Works with all platforms, rovers, quads, aircraft, sailboats, submarines. I think we can all see it at this point. I'm actually out of the truck watching it. Getting back in, that's what shakes the camera. The camera was mounted on a tripod on the roof of the truck, and the computer and the RC transmitter was up there. Heading for waypoint 5. You can see now it's traveling in just almost perfect arrow straight line after it got its INS going. 5 over the line. 6 done. Now I'll just drive it around to recover it. So I put these learned waypoints in the quad, and I put the quad where it was automatic takeoff, ran the waypoints, came back, would be an automatic landing. My problem was when I got into this area, I decided to simulate a lowering of altitude and going through the wicket with the 2 10-foot poles and the crepe paper stretched between the top of them that you have to go under for points, and putting in those 3 or 4 extra waypoints. Actually accidentally copied the GPS locations from a different location. It headed for the trees. We'll see that here in a minute. My total time in the field today for all this experimentation was approximately an hour. Very quick today. So this I just set up, plugged in, got it ready to go. The only thing I did when I got back to the truck was flip the switch to auto. Everything until it tries to crash in the trees is completely autonomous. Here we go. Automatic takeoff. I've got the speed set to only 500 centimeters per second, something like that, so it actually moves rather slowly. When I flip it into manual mode and bring it out of those trees, kind of angry, you'll see, since I've switched back to 3S batteries, some of the other flights you've seen lately with this, when I switched it back to the 3S batteries, it's very agile now, very nimble, extremely responsive. Calibrated the power sensors, getting much more out of it. Flight times. Now it loses itself in the background here, and I'll try to keep it pointed out as best I can to you. You can see it against the sky every now and then. Right there. Right there in the gap. There she is. Getting ready to turn waypoint 3. Oops. Now I've lost it. There it is. Doesn't really, when I'm editing, I don't see it in HD. It's a little lower quality than HD, so heading for waypoint 3. 4 actually, turn 3. So I had added a loiter of 5 seconds, a change of altitude from 30 feet to 15 feet, and then finish out. And it comes in right here and does the 5-second loiter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then as it goes for the lower altitude, you can see it turns and heads for GPS coordinates that are over towards the trees. I should not have changed my plans. So if you keep an eye on it here, I kept letting it try to get out of it itself. But finally, I just took over in total manual mode, and when I hit the throttle, you'll see the difference in speed of this creature now. I finally give up here and let's get out of there. So there we go. And then I was upset that I had made a change. Don't make changes. So I just kind of horsed it around, pointed it in my direction, and just, it'll go above 40 miles an hour now. Flame wheel with 12-inch props is approaching 50. Little lighter with the 3S battery, so as I'm coming in for a landing here in manual mode, I hit the throttle a little bit too much. It kind of came up in the air. But I'm getting so used to it, it don't make much difference. So there's kind of how my day went. A lady and 2 young children showed up, and I asked them to stay back because it was over in this area when they showed up and almost finished. And because it was a completely autonomous mode, except for when I took it into manual, I didn't want them to be out in the field. And they were nice, so I took it over after and showed it to the little boys. Maybe they'll get into science, solve some diseases, find some new worlds to live on, etc. So that was basically my day.